Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm going to be taking a look at the UFC 287 card that's going down in Miami this Saturday. This card is stacked and features a rematch of one of the biggest rivalries in the sport today, while also containing an exciting co-main event that could be career-altering for both guys. I've been waiting for this card ever since it was announced, and I can't wait for it. So, let's get into my predictions for the main card, and then after that's done, I'll shout out some prelim fights to take a look at as well. So opening up the main card, we have exciting 18-year-old Raul Rojas taking on Christian Rodriguez. I'll be honest, I'm a bit surprised that this is the fight that will be opening up the main card, considering there are two ranked middleweights going at it on the prelims. But I also see why this is the fight the UFC decided to go with as well. The UFC is going to want to promote this kid. Being 18-year-old and in the UFC is unheard of. His age basically is all the marketing that they need in order to get the more casual fans interested in him. If he's able to secure the win as well, that would excite a lot of people and boost his popularity a ton, even if it's against an unknown opponent. I'm not trying to take anything away from Rojas either. He's an exciting fighter with super mature wrestling for his age. His last time in his debut, he was able to dominate in the wrestling department and didn't look out of place at all. I have a feeling that this is going to go similar to that one. Rodriguez is also a newer fighter who's only had 2 fights with the company prior to this one. Things are on a level playing field. However, we know the UFC likes to set up their potential future stars with easier fights in the beginning of their careers, and I think that's going to be the case for Rojas here. The UFC is going to set him up for success on a big stage on pay-per-view in front of thousands of people. It benefits everyone involved, except for Christian Rodriguez. So I am going to be taking Raul Rojas to win this fight, which will boost his popularity amongst casuals and the diehard fans. Next up, we see a clash in the welterweight division between Santiago Ponzinibbio and Big Mouth Kevin Holland. Ponzinibbio's last time out resulted in a victory against Alex Morano. Holland's last time out was a loss against Wonderboy in an epic striking match in Orlando last December. Potential fight of the year candidate. What I'm getting at is basically I don't think Holland lost too much stock for that fight. He tried to go toe-to-toe with one of the best strikers in the sport to put on a show for the fans. That's what it's all about for Holland. He's a BJJ black belt as well, so if he really wanted to, he could have taken Wonderboy down and submitted him from there. But Big Mouth's for the fans, win or lose. He even proved that last September when he took a fight against the most feared guy in the division, Hamzat Chimaev, on a day's notice. Looking at this matchup, it's not going to be like Kevin's last outing. He needs a win. He won't want to hang on the feet with Ponzinibbio for 15 minutes. He's going to try and use that BJJ black belt a lot more to his advantage, trying to hurt Santiago a bit on the feet before a takedown. It's his best chance at the win. Both guys like to bring a show for the fans, and it's going to be entertaining either way. Honestly, though, if I had to pick a winner, I would go with Holland. He's more diverse and really needs the win to get back on track. If Holland can keep him at range with his reach and use his ground game to his advantage, he'll be able to squeeze out a close win. Up next is going to be an exciting boxing match between two prolific strikers. Rob Font makes his return to the octagon following a year off after his loss to Chito Vera. Giannis is on a different trajectory, riding a 5-fight win streak with 4 of those wins coming by finish. Undefeated in the UFC and has never been finished in his pro career, Giannis has been on the rise and is catching steam with popularity amongst the fans. Compared to a young Jorge Masvidal, Giannis is a super technical boxer with lightning speed and reflexes. He's super composed and can release a burst of punches within seconds. He's a tough fighter for his opponents to figure out. Font, on the other hand, is no slouch himself. He's been regarded as one of the best boxers in the division, who likes to rely on a standard jab to control his fights, and he's super effective with it. Font needs to operate behind that jab for 15 minutes in order to beat Giannis. Trying different things against Giannis is not a great idea due to how explosive he is, but if he's able to control the fight with his jab, that'll keep Giannis frustrated and allow for things to play right into Font's hands. If Font can be successful with his jab, then I can see him winning the fight with a decision. If Giannis recognizes it quickly, though, he'll be in a much better position to win the fight because he's just more diverse of a striker. I think that'll be the case, to be honest. Font could come back as a different man after a year off, but Giannis is super dangerous. He's also young and hungry, and a win here catapults him into the top 10. I think Giannis gets the job done. I think he could catch Font in one of the exchanges once he figures out how to get past his jab, and Font's going to have to try different things later on in this fight. Once that happens, I could see Giannis catching him and securing the finish. I really think this one does have fight of the night potential, though. However, so do the next two. In the co-main event spotlight, We see a fight that is guaranteed to keep people on the edge of their seats once it starts. Brazil's Gilbert Burns takes on Miami's own Jorge Masvidal in what could be his final fight should he lose to Burns. I've seen a lot of people writing off Jorge in this one, saying it's not going to be close and that Gilbert is just going to maul him. But when you take a closer look at this fight, I think that can be far from the truth. People have forgotten how good of a striker Jorge Masvidal is. Those fights against Usman and Covington have really starched a lot of the hype and respect around Masvidal. In all honesty, too, the guys he lost to have been some of the best guys in the world, one of them holding the pound for pound spot as well. Both of those guys were wrestlers, too, and bad matchups for him. While Burns possesses the threat of the ground game as well, I don't think he's going to be using it as much as people think. Burns is a good striker, too, and he believes he outclasses Jorge on the feet. That may be the case, but it's also a risky idea as well. Jorge has shown in the past that he can knock you out if you choose to stand and beg with him. Both these guys are showmen too. They're going to want to bring a war and an exciting fight for all the fans. I don't see this fight going the distance. Someone is going to secure the finish and shake up the arena. And after I've tried to stick up for Jorge here, I'm still going to pick Burns. He's just a better overall fighter, and I think he wants it more than Jorge as well. His training sessions look ridiculous, and I think he still has something to prove in this division. With Usman out of the picture for now, the division is wide open, and Gilbert seems to like his chances at the belt with Leon, being the one who has it. As for Jorge, this just seems like a super tough fight for him, and props to him for taking it. It's good to know that once he got his fame and popularity, he's still willing to go in there with some of the best guys in the world. This is what I think it comes down to for Masvidal as well. He's been fighting for so long. He's made his money, become super successful and famous, and I think it's made him take his foot off the gas pedal a bit, so to speak. He's not as hungry as he once was, which is understandable once you've done so well for yourself. There's other things outside of MMA for Masvidal now, other opportunities that don't involve him getting his face smashed in by elite level guys. I think he's going to go there, put on one last show for the fans in his hometown, and call it quits. I could be wrong though. Jorge could go in there and knock Gilbert out, and we could be having a whole different conversation. Everyone seems to be thinking that this fight has no implications on who gets the next title shot, which I don't think is entirely true. If Jorge goes in there and sparks Gilbert, I wouldn't be shocked at all if the UFC would want to bounce on the opportunity to do Jorge vs. Leon. With the history those two have, the promotion for that fight would be pretty easy. I would argue that it could be a bigger fight than Colby vs. Leon as well. Overall though, I don't think that hypothetical scenario happens. I think that Gilbert will be the one who comes up victorious and just ends up waiting for the winner of Colby vs. Leon. On to the main event now, where we see the highly anticipated rematch between two formidable foes. Israel Adesanya will be looking to get his revenge against the man who seems to be his kryptonite, Alex Pereira. This is technically the fourth time they will be seeing each other in a ring, but only the second time in the UFC. Everyone has ended with Pereira being victorious. I'm pretty confident this will be the last time these two see each other as well, which means this one will be the most impactful one yet. So I was lucky enough to see their last fight live inside of Madison Square Garden last November. The energy in the arena was crazy during that fight. It started with Izzy looking super composed in the first couple of minutes, just trying to keep Pereira at a distance with calf kicks as he tried to feel out what he wanted to do. At the end of the first, Izzy caught Alex with a series of punches that looked to hurt him. 10 more seconds of that round and Izzy might have secured himself the finish, but that wasn't the case. As the fight progressed, Israel looked the better man. He was able to take him down and gain some control in the middle of the fight. He was able to pick his shots on the feet as well, causing Alex some problems. Throughout the fight though, there was always a sense that Pereira's punches were the ones causing more damage. You could almost feel his punches once he would corner Izzy. You'd feel that if a knockout was going to come, it'd be from Pereira, which it eventually did, as Alex was able to secure the finish late in the fifth. So, what would Izzy have to do in order to have a different outcome this time? I think he needs to manage his space better in the octagon. There were often times in the last fight where you would see Izzy back into the cage and invite Alex to come and attack him, as he would try and counterpunch. And you just can't do that with a guy like Alex. He's way too dangerous. When you have a guy like Alex, who has the one-punch knockout power, you can't be inviting him into exchanges. You have to command the space in the octagon and put the pressure on him, while also being careful and calculated. He's also going to need to wrestle a lot more in this one. He saw success with it in the last fight, so it doesn't seem unlikely for him to try and do it again. If he can take a round or two by wrestling, that'll help him on the scorecards a lot. I think in general that if this fight does go to the judges, it'll be Izzy that is victorious. He's more technical and complete than Alex, and as long as he keeps his composure and doesn't try forcing a finish just to try and prove a point, he will win this fight. He was winning the last one until the finish, and as long as he doesn't make the same mistakes that he made in the last one, he should be fine. Alex Pereira is a scary guy, and I'm definitely not counting him out. Izzy is just a more experienced MMA fighter, though, and for the first time in his MMA career, he is now facing true adversity, a true challenge that he has to overcome. This is a career defining moment for Israel, and I believe that he indeed will bounce back and get the win. It won't be some highlight reel finish, but it will be a win where he gets the respect back from the fans and shows that he is a complete MMA fighter. This is going to be an exceptional fight no matter the outcome, though, and I'm so excited for it. So now I'm going to take a quick look at the prelims, which have some interesting fights. One I wanted to shout out is Kelvin Gastelum versus Chris Curtis. This fight should arguably be on the main card, but it's not. I'm interested to see where Kelvin is at in his career right now. He hasn't fought in a year and a half and is coming off 2 losses. Not exactly a recipe for success. Curtis, on the other hand, has been more active and is coming off a win against Joaquin Buckley. I think ring rust is going to play a factor in this one, and Curtis is also really good, so I'm going to give him the edge in this one. Michelle Waterson makes her return against Luiana Pinheiro, while Jared Mershard sees himself take on the touted prospect Joe Pyfer, who's looking to secure his second win on his second fight with the company. Lastly, Carl Williams is stepping in for Chris Barnett to take on Chase Sherman in an exciting heavyweight clash. I wasn't lying when I said this card was stacked. So there you have it, guys. Those are my predictions for UFC 287. That's how I see things playing out. This is an interesting card that can have a lot of career-altering moments. It could see the goodbye to a misunderstood fighter and the perfect redemption arc to one of the most prestigious strikers we've ever seen. I hope you guys understand my picks and my reasoning. Whether I'm right or wrong, though, we're in for an exciting night in Miami, and I cannot wait. If you enjoyed my breakdown and liked hearing my picks, consider subscribing, as I like to make predictions like these before every card. Thanks for watching,